A motto that I live by is better than yesterday towards perfection. As Rabbi Frand said by the Siyum HaShas 2 cycles ago, perfection is the enemy of good. And in life, if you're going to wait for that perfection, as you heard at the last panel, what's the difference between an entrepreneur and a non-entrepreneur? The non-entrepreneur tries to figure things out first, and then they jump in. The entrepreneur jumps in. Take it better than yesterday. Something sounds right, the right direction. As long as each day you can get better, move in that direction. This is so apropos for what's going on here when it comes to AI. It's not perfect. It will never be perfect. You only could hope to every day be a little bit better than yesterday. Harvard recently completed a study, and the study came out that the way you should be using AI is only to get you started on a project. Talk to it, use it as an assistant, but never use it as the final. It's never going to be the final result that you could count on to become perfect. And if you take that mindset, which is apropos here today, to tie in the H3 Halacha Summit to one part here, is that this is why when it comes into attempting to use AI to become your Rav, or to ask questions, or to paskin shaylos, you can end up running into issues there, never go down that path. And, Art Scroll is looking into, what kind of AI should they incorporate. The goalpost they're setting is that the AI will never, ever give you a psak. It's never going to give you the final. If you're going to ask a question, it's not going to give you the final answer. What it's going to do is going to be a glorified and a master search. So if you're in the middle of learning and you want to know by Meiser Behema, how does the carbon work? Who eats it? Who doesn't? Where does it get burnt? It's going to just bring up, you could ask it the same way I just spoke now, large language model. You could ask it the question and it'll pull up the real relevant place that the answer is coming from. So if it's going to bring up the actual Mishnah, the Pasuk, the Gemara, the Halacha, so you could make that final decision. But it's more of a powerful search. Another thing also to put in, when people think of the word AI, is, Apple calls it Apple intelligence. I think the right way to think about AI, the right frame of mind, is automation intelligence. It's really about automating and searching things that you could do manually yourself. How can you use technology or computers or systems to do that better for you? A key thing that I try to tell people when it comes into business is delegate, delegate, delegate. And I say, are the people you're working with going to make mistakes? Yes. Are they going to do that job as good as you? No. But be selfish about your own time. And you want to say, how much time would it take me if I did it, versus how much time is it going to take me to correct and edit the person I'm working with? So if you focus selfishly on your time, and then you delegate, you'll be able to accomplish a lot more. Don't focus how much time the delegatee spent. Focus on yourself. Think about AI, is that delegation on steroids? AI is going to allow you to delegate, and probably at a higher competency level than you're currently delegating some of the tasks that you're doing today. But if you're using AI to be as an assistant, to delegate, and how you could come and do more, if that's your frame of mind, that's the right frame of mind to approach when you're starting to use AI for today and as it goes to the future. If you take away just 2 points from today, I think these are really the 2 points to take away from this session. Number one is that, this is my belief, the internet talks about it a little bit worse even, is I think that 50% of jobs will be replaced with AI. That's the line, 50%. So that means you're sitting here and why did I come here? To give you a negative view on the world, so half of you will not have a job in 12 months? No, is that if you start today to take the right approach, you're from the half. That not only do you have a job, is you're thriving and able to do so much more that your actual pay and value, if you own a company or to your company, is worth that much more. Join the bandwagon, and the goal here today is to show you how easy it is to get there. But to illustrate this point, is not that I don't think AI is replacing anybody. It's not replacing me, it's not replacing you. It's like the old technologies. When they came out with Easy Pass, toll collectors were replaced with technology. When you go to the grocery store and you could self-checkout, the machines replaced that there's no person doing the checkout in the store. Okay, you could say instead of you putting when you're checking out, you scan it yourself. That's the difference. But technology replaced. The way it's working over here is that AI is going to make those that use it so much more powerful and could do so much more output that those using AI are going to replace those that are not using AI. So the example I give, in my industry, commercial real estate, finance. So let's say 100 loans have to be processed, and the average processor could process 10 loans. So that means as a company, we need 10 employees to process loans. What happens when each step of the process that each employee is doing, they get so much more efficient and their output could go so much faster? So instead of being able to process 10, they could process 15, then they could process 20, then they could process 30. Over time, to process those same 100 loans, I only need 3 or 4 people. So in that one department, 60% of people are replaced. What can come from it? What new jobs? There's going to be a ton of new jobs. Look, my son opened a business consulting in AI. There's going to be business and industries, I'll talk about another one here today, that people are opening, that people could open. But the fact of the matter is that the output that an individual employee could do today versus what they're able to do as they're using AI, and as AI gets better, in some instances, it's 10x. And that's the amount of people that are going to be changed, or the value that you could bring to the table. To illustrate this point even more, my son, and I even did it just to speak to someone here, walking in here, and I said, how many employees do you have? He has 2 questions when he starts. How many employees do you have? The person says 20. His follow-up question is, if every employee was as competent and as amazing as your top 3, how many employees would you need? After the tongue-in-cheek jokes that go back and forth, the answer is never higher than 15. So that means before someone never even understood what AI could do, just knew if all their employees were much more efficient, they'll need a lot less employees. That's how you have to start looking at AI. So you're looking at AI as how can you have more output in every minute that you're working? The second thing is that AI is no more part of the future. It's here today. And it's as easy as using a smartphone. Literally, I'm going to show you examples here. That's the goal. You walk out with things you could start using today. If you never used it before, you could start today. If you used it, to realize, hey, a couple of extra steps, how much more can you get done in that little time? Apple spends billions of dollars that you shouldn't need a manual how to use an iPhone. The first phones used to come out with these manuals. There's no manuals anymore. It's meant to be dummy-proof. That's what it's meant for. AI is the same thing. You shouldn't need to be trained how to use AI. Just start using AI, and it's naturally, whatever you need, start talking to it and start asking it questions. So the message there is like, goes quote, I think the best tagline, best quote is Nike, just do it. Make the move to do it. So people in life make decisions because there's benefits to it. There's benefits to using AI, and also the fear factor. If you have a business and you're not adapting to AI, and you're not making sure AI is embedded within the system, your competitor will be able to do the same output as you for half or a quarter of the price. You can't compete if you as a company not using AI, and definitely as an individual if you want to keep within your job to be able to secure your job and have room to thrive within the organization. The next step, which I'm not going to talk about in detail here, is really robotics. And to a certain extent, yeah, you think a car drives by itself and you see all the industries that are having robots brought into industries. We're going to have robots in our homes. We will not have cleaning help. You'll have a robot doing all the work. Now, for those people who think it's that far out, the reality is you have a robot in your house today. Almost everyone in this room has a Roomba. It vacuums the floor by itself. The new version that came out a couple of weeks ago is a Roomba with a basket on the top and a robotic arm. When it vacuums the floor and it sees a toy, it scoops it up, puts it into the basket, and keeps cleaning. So when you come back to your room a few minutes later, the room is totally clean, and there's a basket of all the toys. You think it's so difficult for it to now go the next step and know where each toy should go to? There's no issue. But that's the direction where things are moving to, on every single step of the way. The actual presentation here that I'm doing together with my son, we're going to break down to 2 parts. The first part, I'm going to go through 2 examples of things that I think every individual or company should start with and show you little examples of it. And then my son's going to show you like tools, which is a little bit next level, but the definition of next level, it's you could do it yourself. My one piece of advice for those of you that are watching this is that, especially it's recorded here, and even for my son's presentation, he's going to do it slow. He has it done, broken out a little bit longer and more in detail for those that are more into tech. And it's going to be saved on his website, his site name, shway.com/H3. So I find it's better to listen, not while you're trying to take notes or try to remember everything. Just osmosis. Listen and try to take in whatever you can. And then afterward, you want to rewatch it, you'll get to watch it. And if you can't get the video afterward, it's more important that you open your eyes what's possible and you walk out of here, that you realize, hey, it's not that tough to jump into the water. You get comfortable from what's available there. If I could go with one key mindset as well. My father, Zatzal, used to say about himself, I'm the youngest 70-year-old you know. Every time there's a new piece of technology, something new in the world, in the market, he went after it and he learned it, he wanted to understand it. To see the Art Scroll app today was created 10 years ago. It's still being used today. Now, people have their comments in it based on what else is going around. If you think about the vision 10 years ago when people didn't even have smartphones at the same level, how it's going to work, the functionality that's working today was working 10 years ago. There's more content today, but the same functionality. And you have to be, no matter how old you are or young you are, it's the new world coming. And this is where you have to start adapting as of today. When cell phones first came out, not everybody had a cell phone. And if I want an employee to have a cell phone to be available, they said, I'll have one. I need a company phone. I'm not putting my own personal. There's like separate. There's business and personal. Today, you have employees working, and you have, then at that time, remember, I want someone to have access to internet at home. So I don't have internet at home. You want to pay for my internet service, this is what it costs. The company can pay for it. That was the accepted dialogue. Today, no company pays for your internet, no company pays for your cell phone. The expectation is that you have a smartphone, you have internet access 24/7, you know how to use Google Docs, Google Sheets, and all the programs that exist. That's like the standard. AI is the standard. On a personal level, I wouldn't hire any employee today on a salary that does not use AI now at some level and is more passionate. I ask a question. I said there's 3 types of people. Those that are the visionaries, they jump in, they new technology all the time. There are those that don't jump in, but they go with the flow. If that's what people are doing, they'll jump in. And then there's the antis. Which bucket are you in? If they're not closer to 1 than to 3, I wouldn't hire them. And for vendors also. That's why I gave me the same shout out to Morty. I wouldn't work with a vendor today that's not using AI. I had someone call me up and say, I could help you on your videos. I'm much better than AI, how I'll edit it and fix it. I couldn't even believe I was having a conversation with someone in 2024. I wouldn't hire them. And that's, you're gonna have to find. AI is gonna be the key for your success in your own company and within the industry. So on a note, if I'm talking here to employees, the first one in the company that gets the company onto the right train is the most valuable employee in that company. And when there's another competitor who's going to want to find, I got to get my company into AI, this rich company that waited till the end. You know what they're going to do? They're going to call up another person, who's someone who knows AI the best in this industry, and they go pluck you and offer you double your pay to go pull them over. So you want the job security and the upside. This is the time irrelevant to the age, being able to supercharge what you do. So to actually talk about AI itself, right now, the world has came to a point that ChatGPT, people use Claude, I'm going to just go with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is the new spell check. At a bare minimum, the same way you would never think to send out an email without spell checking it, you can't send out your message without putting it through ChatGPT. And just like paste it in and hit enter. You don't even give it instructions, it knows. It will just clean it up for you. That's the bare minimum you have to do. But really the way to use ChatGPT is talk to it. Have a dialogue. Treat it like an assistant. It's the smartest person in the world. It's the smartest person in the room. Ask it questions. Not that its answer is final, but let it give you direction of what you're able to go ahead and get done. When I went into business, my father Zatzal told me he'll edit all my emails for me. He'll teach me English, but here's what the rules of engagement. I have to draft the email. I have to tell him why and what tone I'm trying to accomplish with the email, and then when he sends back the corrections, I have to match them up and understand why he made every correction. And whatever I didn't understand why he did it, I had to ask. I don't have to agree with his final, but that's the only way I was able to learn. That is the same way I'm using ChatGPT, and I think most of you use ChatGPT. You have an issue with a client. You have an issue with your boss, a worker, somebody. Draft what you would draft pre-AI, and then turn to the consultant, AI, and say, this is the issue I'm having. This is the email I wanted to draft. How would you make changes but keep it in my style? You'll be amazed. You could decide to take its changes, and you can even ask it, why did you make that change? What was wrong with what I had? It will talk to you and it'll go through that dialogue. So I want to just try one thing on the sound. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How can I help today?
I am making a presentation at H3, it's our Halacha Summit. I'm making a presentation together with my son. My son has an AI consulting company. And I need an opening joke that ties this in, but also that I want to make sure people should not ask their shilas to AI, instead they should say with the Rav. Could you please give me an opening joke that I should say at the H3? I have no idea the answer.
Here's an idea. You can start with, good morning everyone. My son and I are thrilled to be here to talk about AI. Just remember, while AI can answer many questions, it's not quite ready to paskin shilas. For that, we still need our trusted Rabbanim. That should set a light, humorous tone while making your point clear.
There are a few people here that don't speak English. They only speak Hungarian Yiddish. Can you please say that over in Hungarian Yiddish?
I'm not fluent in Hungarian Yiddish, but if you'd like, I can help you find a translation.
No.
Would you like me to do that?
No, just regular Yiddish. You speak Yiddish?
I understand some Yiddish. Would you like me to try translating it for you?
Yes, say it over in Yiddish.
Sure, here it is in Yiddish. Good morning, Alvin. Mein Sohn und ich sind vergleicht zu reden wegen AI. Aber gedenkt, Choć AI kann entweder das Sachfreudes, ist es noch nicht recht zu passen entscheidend. For das darf man noch als auf unsere Parteistelle bauen. That should work nicely.
Thank you very much. Now, I just want to tell you, everything that's there that he did, we went through, the whole conversation is typed. So that whole correspondence is also typed. You copy and paste it, do work in it. And my son will go more examples. But it knows everything. You could have an issue with your kids. You want an idea. My kid did this thing wrong. What should I do? They don't have friends. What's a good idea? You have to tell bedtime stories to your kid? What do you want a story about? I'm here with my 7-year-old kid. She wants a story about whatever. It will tell a story. Say it faster, slower. She's 14 years old. Say it as an adult. This is where it's today. It's not futuristic. Some of the things you'll see are mind-blowing what they're coming out with. So for those that are mesmerized, understand, if the person that's 18 years old came into your company today using these tools, they're way better than you. You at least want to maintain that difference. The second thing I want to talk about, and which I think every company needs, and again, the advice is to all of you, you work in a company, be the one to bring it into your company. Don't fight the system, it's happening anyway. And this is really called a chatbot with your company's knowledge base. So the same way I was talking out of ChatGPT, that's really the technology of how it could communicate large language model. I could talk to it and it could communicate back. But here's the problem that every company has. So in the morbid way in corporate America, how they ask this question is, they call it the hit by the bus test. If God forbid, a certain employee gets hit by the bus, what does the company do? You want to say the more positive one with the person leaving? The person gets a job offer and they're leaving the company, all on good terms. Where's their knowledge base? You ask a boss, why do you have all these employees? Oh, this person's 20 years experience, they know everything that goes on. What happens if they left? What happens if they retire? The company has nothing? Number one. Problem number two is that you have a great manager. Why should a manager that knows the most information spend so much time training every new employee and answering the same question, dumb question, smart question, over and over again? Like, the amount of time they would save if they had someone else answering these questions, they could do a lot more for the company and be more valuable to the company. And the same delegation mantra across the board. So it's about creating a knowledge base. To understand how this knowledge base works and how easy this is, for $20 a month, you buy a connector that basically links all of your documents, wherever you have everything. So you're not teaching it anything special. Oh, you have a Google Drive? Link it to your Google Drive. So you can link it to all your emails or watch every email that goes in and out of the company. You could upload you upload your documents, upload your standard operating procedures, the company's SOPs. And then if you have videos or Zooms, every conversation, as you transcribe it, just upload it. Just dump it in like you're dumping in another file. This connects to a ChatGPT API. So it's the technology of how it talks and learns from ChatGPT with your internal knowledge base. And then the employee or the staff just talks, and the same way I was talking here to ChatGPT, you're talking to your custom ChatGPT, and you're asking it a question. If you're in the real estate business, you could ask the question. Someone wants to rent an apartment, they have a dog, how does it work? Do we allow pets? They're in the pet lease. What's the language? Instant recall, I'll bring everything up instantly. I'll bring you the source code for it. The manager just changes their job when this is set up to just literally, when the question's asked, they put a thumbs up if it's a correct answer. It's the wrong answer, thumbs down. And then they could train the model to now, for the next time, give the correct answer. So over time, everything, knowledge base is there, everything you want to put inside there, and it gets smarter and smarter over time. If an HR has this big manual about the insurance, how it works, it uploads it, you ask it questions about the HR model. You don't have to have your departments answer these questions, but they don't even know the correct answers, most of them. And you're saving time, and the knowledge base is the companies. In my business, when I hire salespeople, I have one of these bots that we give it a name, Sally, for sales. You ask any question on the company's product, any question on objections, how do they use the CRM. But here's the beauty how it trains. When the system gives a wrong answer, the manager could ask the bot, where did you get that information from? And it will say, Ira did a video 3 weeks ago, and at minute 4 and 12 seconds, he said A, B, C. The manager says, bring it up, right there, changes the B to a D, and now it has the correct answer, and it goes further with the correct answer. This is how easy it is today. Imagine when it's connected to, everyone's on Zoom anyway. Imagine every Zoom is recorded. Your Slack messages, all these things brought together, this is the knowledge base and the knowledge and the education. And imagine just new creative ideas on how you could use things. As an intro to the 3 tools that Aaron's going to be presenting, I want to just give you the intro to level set it from a business sales side of it versus more on the technical side that he's going to show you how it works. The first thing is ChatGPT as your intelligent assistant. So I just showed you, you're blowing your mind. Wow, it's so cool. It can know multiple languages and you can't wrap your head around it. I can't wrap my head around when I come to a different country and I see a person talking to a dog in a different language. I thought a dog only learns English. How did it learn, You go to every country. You're mesmerized with this. It knows everything. If a car could drive, if you really think about it, everything it should be easy here. But what ChatGPT has a memory. And as I'm talking to it, after a while, it knows who you are. You no longer have to start from scratch every single time and ask it questions and say, oh, this is my business, this is what I do, could you draft me an email? You could just say, like an assistant, draft me an email. Apple's intelligence that's coming out on the iPhone is if you had your son who was going to an airport, you're going off taking a flight or landing, and your wife tells you, when do we have to go pick our son up from the airport? What do? You go online, check the flight, when's it landing, check if the weather, check the traffic, and decide if we want to go. Then you just turn to Siri and say, hey Siri, when should we go leave to pick up my son? If you want to be very early, leave in 12 minutes. If you're willing to rush it, cut it close, leave in 30. What is it really doing behind the scenes? These steps of the process. So the first part of it is that it has your memory. If it learns your memory, that's a first part. ChatGPT is your intelligent assistant. Number two is AI agents. That's the fancy word for like an assistant. They can actually do tasks. And we'll give an example. You get business cards. Instead of you manually entering into your CRM, create a program in minutes and automatically just take your business card from a picture and convert it right into your CRM. And the third thing, this talks about a business. A new business someone opened up. But I think it's unbelievable what this thing is and where it's going to. This fellow came over to me, two young kids. I'm talking kids, I don't care how young you're in this room, you call them young kids. One was 19, and I think the other one was 17, he didn't want to tell me his age. He already won an award in an AI competition to read an ancient scroll, to figure out from behind the scenes what the whole scroll possibly said based on every scroll that ever came out before. Crazy stuff he won. He wants to know what could he do in real estate, I said, you want to be more generic? Build an auto dialer. I said, every single salesperson makes phone calls. They don't sit there typing every number. So there's plenty of systems off the shelf. You could dial quicker, it syncs to your CRM. He built one, and it's working today, and it's getting better. The current version today is connected to your internal chatbot. So when a client on the phone asks you a question, you don't have to then type into the chatbot on the side and get the answer. The chatbot hears it. So on your auto dialer screen, it answers the question the client's asking you. If you give the wrong answer, it's going to correct you. The next version is going to start syncing with those coaching. Oh, you're talking too much, you're talking too fast. Listen to the client. The client's getting frustrated. They have this technology today, but it's all going to be interconnected into one part. My message is, don't become obsolete, to the opposite. Take the opportunity. Utilize AI starting today and be able to be not just from those that are surviving, those that are thriving into the next level. I'm going to ask Aaron to present so you see real time those next steps.
Thank you, Deb. Very humbled to be here presenting my first conference. Okay, so like my father mentioned, we're going to be demoing three different concepts of starting off with ChatGPT itself, like the core actual technology, like the app. They're going to move on to what we call agents, which are automations that you use. Let's say you had automations always, but now you could put in like ChatGPT can do stuff like that you would normally say, oh, you can't automate that, a computer can't handle that. So now it can. And then as an example, that power dialer of off-the-shelf tools, like you always had off-the-shelf tools, you could buy different software, but like what they can do, again, has been completely transformed. So starting with ChatGPT, so let's say like I mentioned, the memory, because it remembers everything, it's programmed to, as you use it, just like pull out things. Oh, that's important. Let me remember that. Like puts in the little like bullet points, and then it loads that in every conversation. So now I could write. I want to say for my company, I could write something like, I could have it draft a LinkedIn post for me, and it'll just write out. It'll write out a full LinkedIn post with the context exactly as I wanted it. I just have to give it my content. I'm going to use a feature that they have. It's called Canvas, because I'm sure a lot of you have already used ChatGPT. You've seen it. It can draft something. They added something. Essentially, they built Google Docs into ChatGPT. It's called Canvas. So I could say, draft me a LinkedIn post. It also doesn't really make a difference how badly I spell everything. About celebrating my first Toronto client. Okay, so now it pulls it together, but it puts it over here. So if I had done it in a normal chat, now let's say I wanted to cut out a sentence or something like a small edit. Otherwise, I would have to go through this whole process again of it redrafting everything. Because it's in here, I could literally just select a sentence, delete it, add a different sentence over here, and I can just select a paragraph, tell it to make it longer, and then it'll just go in, edit it for me. So it's like we're both collaborating on a Google Doc in real time. And then I could have asked it that like normal chat over there, and then I could just finish up. I go down to the corner, I could go to add final polish. I didn't, oh, okay. And then just add final polish, and it just goes through and it redoes the article. It's ready, now it's literally, I could take this and paste it into LinkedIn. So that's just basic ChatGPT, how you just using it for writing. The next step with ChatGPT is the next thing you would do with it is you can what's called it? You could, let's say I use it. This is probably not, I've stopped using Google for 90% of what I used to use Google for. ChatGPT they have search now. So I could, let's say, ask it, let's say my father said, like, with the knowledge base. Now, there's a million companies that do that connector where it connects it to your knowledge base. So which one, let's say they want to use it on Slack. So I could ask it a detailed question. What's the best way a ChatGPT API to Slack? So now, if I had put that on Google, I would get back 15 articles all saying, oh, this is the best one, or that's the best one, this is why this one's the best. This one gives me a direct, exact answer to my question, what I want to know. I could follow up and say, put this into a pro and con table. And then boom, it just puts it together for me. And I could look at everything cleanly done. I don't have to, it just takes so much time. Like the same Google process would have taken me 15 minutes. This takes me 2. Right. It also has built-in image generation, so just to show that off, like I could take this, a good LinkedIn post has a companion image, so generate a cover image, and it'll just within 30 seconds I have a cover image I could use. If you're going to use one AI tool, ChatGPT right now has just like the widest expanse of what it can do. So like I could take this, I could post it now. I have a post, I have an image. I could go and publish this and hope get some views. Everything I'm doing now could be done on the free version. I happen to have the paid version, so the free one has smaller limits on what you could do before. You have to wait till the next day. But everything I'm doing here, you could do on the free version. So now the next thing. So now the agents. So again, with business cards, I have a business card here. I don't want to have to put it into my CRM. This is my today's leads. I haven't added anyone yet. I could just take a picture of it with my phone, go into my email, I have a custom email address in the thing, attach the picture that I just took, send it in, and then if we wait, now you can actually watch, this is the automation that I have. You can actually watch it run through here so now you're going to see it's going to pop up over here, and it's going to go through, and then go back to my CRM. Here we go. I have his business card. I have his name, email, phone. It's all populated in. I could have done that if I had 5 business cards. If I had 10, I could have just done that. So the way it's working is, so here's the process. If you went and you had to add your business cards, you have to add in, you take it, you enter every item into it separately, and every item into every field, and then you put it together. So now, it takes you 1 to 2 minutes each. You have 10 business cards. It's taking you 20 minutes, half an hour. It's a lot of time for very little work. So I have this over here. I send an email. This red circle over here is just basically making this website I'm using is called make.com. You could do it's basically for automating different things that connect to each other. So I can send an email. This captures the email. This little piece here just basically accounts for if there's multiple images, like how does the rest of the program know how to deal with it. So that's just what this piece is. Then it sends it this is the main thing. It sends it into ChatGPT. ChatGPT looks at the picture, says, okay, that's the first name, that's the last name, that's the phone number, that's the email, puts it all together into a nice structure, which gets sent through here, just because the way the CRM works. So the ChatGPT, which I gave instructions, you're an AI system that extracts structured data from an image of a business card, and then I tell it to put it into the right structure that I need for it to go through into the CRM. And then it goes into then it gets sent over here to the CRM, where it gets literally taken first name, last name, ever, fills it out, and pushes it into my CRM, and then I just have it. Now I just have it in my CRM. All I had to do is take a picture, send it, done. And I could have done that with 10, I could have done that with 20, there's no real limit on it. We're gonna now, so that's assist. This is a very simple one, just to give you an example of the concept. You could read, there are automations, you look at people, they post like pictures of what they've put up, they have like hundreds of those nodes. You could put together something that does more or less anything if you just put it all together, but you could also, on very simple things, you take 4 or 5 inputs and that's it. And ChatGPT helped me build it, so it's very simple. It could be very simple. Okay, so now this is the auto dialer. So see, it connects here to my leads. Then I choose the lead I want to speak to, and then I start the phone call. So now, just full disclosure, I am not a salesman. That's why I'm in tech. It's not gonna be the greatest call, but.
Hi, I'm calling from Schway. We offer businesses and executives AI education, consultation, and implementation services. Do you have time to talk? So our pricing is
Okay, so you asked for my pricing. You see over there on the right side, my pricing actually just told me what my pricing is for the different things. So if I was a salesman, I didn't actually know my own company, then I would have it like nicely set up and like fed in, if I could forget.
And the company package. Executive package goes for $500 for 4 hours, and the company package goes for $2,000.
So now I just told them the wrong number. That was $2,500. So now it pops up. No, the company package is $2,500 a month. Not so because like it realized I made a mistake.
It was $2,500 a month.
So then I picked up on it and I continued the conversation. So then.
Sure, I would be happy.
So now he asked me to send it all over an email. It heard that he wants an email with my pricing, and now it's processing in the background, and then
Discuss this further.
it pulls together an email for me. At the end, I could go in, I could have him send this email with everything pre-filled out. I don't have to do it. Now we're scheduling a meeting. You'll see it at the end that we're scheduling a meeting now, and then it also is going to fill that in for me.
Checking my schedule. How about Monday at 2? Does that sound better? Okay, so I'll send you over an invite, and I'll send you over an email with other information.
What? It's called Vico Talk is the name of the software. Vico Talk. VYKOTALK. Yeah. So now I could check the email that I want to send them. It shows all the information that he asked for. Send the email. Boom. Now I go in. We scheduled me wanted at 2 o'clock on Monday. That's the correct date, correct time. Just schedule the meeting. It goes into my CRM, goes into my calendar, sends him an invite, and then I could just go straight in. I press submit. It loads all the data from the call into my CRM, and I go to the next call.
Regarding AI, I assume there's so much different stuff out there. How does one differentiate between technology that is worth learning and technology that's not worth learning?
So it's a good question. You kind of have to think. What's the first thing is all this stuff makes mistakes. You have to think to yourself, what is the worst case scenario if something goes wrong here? If I'm trusting myself to this, what's going wrong? So if it's something that's like it's mission critical, and it's like if it goes wrong and you can't supervise it, then just like it's not worth looking at. If it's something that assists you, like it makes you better and more powerful, then there's no reason not to, because like you don't stand to lose anything, and it boosts your productivity so much.
So I think just one step before that is Nike. Just jump in, better than yesterday. If this works. Like people tell me Claude is better. It's working for this. As I get used to it, I'll use something more. It's not like the old days. You have to do research on a product. You're married to it, and if you switch, the cost and the headache. Start using it. Go to ChatGPT today, start using it. Ask you a question, you have to use ChatGPT for a week, you won't have that question anymore. No, it was a real person. It was him talking to the person. It just that he pre-recorded it in advance. By the way, they have regular conversations they could talk. Just as laws who can make the calls, inbounds. When you speak when you call up your airline today, your credit card, you don't even realize sometimes you're talking to a chatbot that's just much smarter and is able to communicate almost live. The technology is basically there.
which industries will it, something that's not AI directly, but which industries will it disturb or change, and therefore there's other uses of it, not AI directly, but what will impact?
I think if you think of automation, when you have a lot of employees, when someone called me up and tells me, this is great, I met a major real estate owner yesterday, who's telling me how impressed, how his collections are so high. And I said, there's AI tools. He goes, tell me any AI tool has better collections than me. I said, no, you have it wrong. Your staff are doing steps. You could automate parts of your steps. You have better staff than other people. So it's about people. So don't look at it, it's not about industries. It's a person that's doing a lot of manual searching or steps in a process. You could automate that. And if they could make 100 phone calls in a day, much more knowledgeable than they were before, that's on the sales side, so you could do a lot more business. But on the execution side, the processing, if I had a secretary who used to just update all my calendar dates and send calendar invites, that job is gone. Middle management is what's becoming gone, because an employee using AI and a higher level manager could manage a lot more people. So it's about people. Look at each person. So you have a company that's going old school manual steps in the process, those industries are totally gone.
I know you're talking about using it for businesses. How well does it do for like to run tires or like shop things or for the media? Like how does it work for that?
I'm not going to give an example here because I have to end now. So I'm just going to tell you, you could ask it to ChatGPT and say, I am speaking this Shabbos it's Shabbos Parshas Shmos. I'm speaking and by the way, the same way I'm talking now. Don't try to figure out how you should talk to it. I'm speaking at a Sheva Brachas. One side is coming from a divorced home. The other side went off the derech and now is back on the derech. And Trump inauguration, but the mother-in-law hates Trump. Give me a speech. And it will give you a speech. In a second. Will you use that exact speech? I don't know. But one thing is for sure, you will be very prepared for the speech that you have to give. I want to thank you all. I hope it was a benefit. Thank you very much. Thank you, Aaron.